how's it going? This is James P. White. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, and that's none other than Chris Mooney, the bald and ugly guy. Uh, you know, I've decided to change the name from of the Bald and Short of It podcast to the Bald and Ugly and Short of It podcast, just because why not? Um, but other than that, we are live here at Sherbrooke Pub. One of our favorite go-tos. We come here quite often, and we've done this is what the fourth episode I think we've done here, and I love this place. We're going to talk about my birthday, which was here last week, almost a
Scene of the
week ago.
crime. Scene of the crime.
The scene of the there's a lot of gray areas of things that I don't remember happening. Um, pictures I was sent that um, I even had to phone my buddy Rob, who gave me a ride home, and I was hammered. You were not sober, but yeah, it was a good time. We'll talk about that in a minute. But uh, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've like letting it all out there. We've talked about this before. We have a prep document of stuff that we had, of things that we're possibly going to talk about, and we've shifted things down the line. Like we have some stuff on this document that we were supposed to talk about 2 weeks ago that just we haven't yet. So it's we got a lot to talk about. We got a birthday, the birthday party last week, and a bunch of other stuff. And you know what? This is actually going to be the first time I'm actually going to start with talking about my week because it was a really cool week. I had a lot of stuff go on, and it started with the birthday party last Friday, right here at Sherbrooke. I had a lot of friends from Zoom groups and other friends that I've known for many years show up. I don't remember much of my interactions with them. I actually sent a group apology that I didn't talk to them that much until I saw a bunch of selfies and pictures and video of us interacting. And then I realized, okay, I don't remember talking to them. So it was one of those days, several shots. You drank entire bottle of wine before we even came here. And
Uh,
it was,
I
it
don't know
was
about that.
it was one of those trips. And that was that was last Friday. And then a few days ago, I starting a part of a Bible study, so I went and bought a new Bible. This is the weirdest thing. So I went to Chapters in West Edmonton Mall, and I looked through all the reference sections. You know how they have sports and they have all that kind of, and it wasn't in there. It was in the back of the store in the fiction area, like with all the fictions of books and teenage stuff. And in a shelf right next to where you buy the Holy Bible was you could learn about tarot cards. You could learn about Ouija boards. And I'm like, that really bugged me. Like it was like it 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 creeped me out. Like it kind of reminded me of I was a when I was in Tabor, and I was a big part of our church back then. And my mom bought my sister a Ouija board for Christmas. For one, you're buying a Ouija board at Christmas. Two,
Yeah, I get the irony.
and two, like I had such an uneasy feeling being around it. Like I ended up moving out shortly thereafter. Like it bugged me. And go
Did the spirits tell you to move out, or did your parents?
it could have been my dad when I showed up when I went into the basement and drank my face off and then
Which
decided to
time?
go uh, when I got kicked out of university. But yeah, like so I just thought it was really weird that like in the West Edmonton chapters, it was
You,
in the fiction section, which it's definitely not fiction. Um,
well,
I just
like
found it
I
weird.
wonder. I wonder if that's intentional. Like one thing I notice about chapters um is like they try to curate. So like I've there's some books um that I've gone there to buy. I mean, now I just do everything on Amazon, but like I used to take Caitlin like every month or two to buy books when she was a little younger. And while she's browsing and whatever, and dad's paying so I can browse a bit. I'd be looking for certain books, and it's you know, uh, like good luck trying to find a book that's not. I don't know, like I don't know how to put this like without sounding controversial, but like a book that's like right, like that some people who aren't educated would consider on the right, or like Trumpy or anything like that. And I don't own any Trump biographies, but you get my point. Like some kind of controversial issue that's two sided, and the side that's considered to be on the right, good luck finding that book. But if it's like on the left, like if Hillary Clinton wrote a biography, which she probably has, that would be when you walked in, they'd have a whole showcase. But if like Pierre Polyev, for example, wrote a biography, you'd have to go look. Yeah, it's in the dusty corner. We have 5 copies if you're lucky, if they have it at all. So I'm wondering, so just in extrapolating that, unpacking that with the idea that, yeah, they don't just sell books, they try to curate or direct you to read certain things that, like that maybe they thought it's a gag that religion was fiction. Do you know what I'm saying? Like usually there's like a theology section or whatever, right?
Yeah, like there was a whole
Or
area where you could.
spiritual or whatever. Like, spiritually you got the whole
It was
arrow.
it's religion. It was the religion section. So you could get a copy of the Bible, and you could also get a copy of the Quran if you wanted.
Yeah.
Which I don't disagree with. Like it's just
Yeah.
if you're gonna have a religious book in your store, you can't say, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna have the Quran because I don't agree with it."
Oh no, I
Which
think that's great. You should have all the books. Everyone
no,
should read all of it. Like make up your own mind. I think that's great.
which
But make it
I
as
totally.
easy for me to see all sides rather than have like, for example, like the LGBTQ or the rainbow section, like right when you walk in. Like, and or I'm just using that as an example. It's not an opinion. You know.
But but you know, I don't know if that because I've heard from other people that I've been really bothered by this, and I was talking to someone, I think it was even my cousin, and she goes, "Well, I've been to other chapters, and it's in the reference section." So her thought behind it was that's where they had room was back there because of the store layout. But and like changes like because they have a lot of sitting areas for people, and that specific
Were you
chapters
at
they have a
The
Starbucks.
Mayfield? Were you at the Mayfield chapters?
No, I was at the West Edmonton Mall.
Well, either way, they're both huge. I mean, don't tell me you don't have room to have like a religion section or theology section or spiritual section.
But where they put it is probably, but I don't know. It just
Also,
it's
like you're a little bit biased because you already said that Ouija boards scare you. Like,
not scared. I wasn't afraid. Like I wasn't peeing my pants. It was one of those. It just creeped me out. It was like
do Satanists have rituals that involve like dwarves or little people? Like, is that it?
oh, maybe maybe that could be it. Um,
You're like they're hiding around the corner, gonna take you somewhere and do things to you.
uh,
Fuck, you should worry about me.
and this okay. Um, Sometimes I wish I don't mention things to you. But yeah, other than that, the only other thing. Remember last week we kind of talked about all my journals. Um, One thing since I went to church on Saturday, I started doing like I don't know if I really call it a journal, but it's you know daily quotes, daily scripture, and I mark down different scriptures that I just think of off the top of my head that I, know quite well. And so I started doing that on a daily basis, just, reminiscing or thinking about the different scriptures
Well,
that
that's
have
good.
been
It's like
years.
I'd say that's probably better than a couple weeks ago when you chronolo chronolog chronoli chronolog chronicled like all of the Star Wars properties from like
No, no,
including
no, no.
cartoons. Like you,
No,
it's nice to hear that you're churching up because there's only so much you can learn from
okay, you
chronologizing
took
it.
that. No,
Every single Star Wars.
it was, I was drinking while I was drinking, uh, while watching Star Wars. I had a Star Wars drinking journal, and then I had one if I'm watching something that caught my eye, and oh, I didn't notice that before. Okay, yes, I do have a couple of Star Wars journals, but
No, but you were talking about like for those that haven't weren't listening to that episode, you were talking about like literally from episode 4 Star Wars, like in 77 or whenever that came out, all the way to now, every single thing, including like the cartoons and shit, and like what order a person should watch them. Remember, you were talking. That's what I'm talking about.
oh, okay, yeah, no, that I did because I was bored. Um,
I'm saying, looking at scripture or the gospel or whatever, all these things I'd say that's a step forward from chrono, chrono, I don't know what the word is, but chronicling, chronologic.
Yeah, because I was chronologically breaking down the Star Wars. So that's kind of where you were going with
Yes.
that. But that's what I was doing. Like with the fact that, the, the Acolyte was before Empires, like
Dude,
before,
it's
yeah,
enough
that,
that you did it for yourself. We're good.
that's a menace. If you want, I could break it down for you right now. I have it.
Uh, Hard pass.
Okay. But other than that, that was my week. Other than me, as always, like as I said, we are at Sherbrooke Pub right now. And I try to do it as often as possible. When I am coming here, I always go to Sherbrooke Liquor and pick up a bottle of whiskey or something that I can't get at the place I usually go to. And and I love the Bridgeland stuff.
From
So I got the
Tabor.
Taylor whiskey, yes.
Is it distilled in Tabor or like
No, no,
show
no.
everyone?
It's distilled in Calgary, but they
They
use
use
Tabor
Tabor
corn.
corn. Can I see that?
Yes.
So this is Tabor corn. Okay, this is the one I got a while back.
The bourbon. No, no, this one's actually better than yours. This because
No,
they
because you.
because they have about five or six of them, and this
Yeah,
and
I
this
know they
is
do.
and this is the really expensive one.
I got the Tabor corn bourbon. Like I tried a bunch. Like, and this is before we knew that we both drank it. This is before we knew that we both drank it. And and then you brought that one over or whatever, and we tried that. But the Tabor corn, because I was looking
Well,
at
this
what they
one,
had.
yeah, this one I've never tried because they have like four different
You
Tabor
tried it at
corn
my
with
house. You don't
not
remember.
this one.
Okay, so if they have more than one, then you might be right. Anyway, the I tried.
There's about five.
Yeah, the guy gave me like three because I was gonna buy one. By the way, too, that bottle's a little shy of 750, isn't it?
What's that?
Let me see, because I think I remember when I bought it. It's 500 milliliters, not your typical 750, which
No,
I
it,
fucking hate because I always have the heel. Like you see in my liquor cabinet, I got like really nice whiskey, and I drink it till there's like a heel left, and then I don't want to drink it all. Like the party's gonna be over if I drink it, so it sits in my
so you grab a different bottle.
yeah, basically. Like when we went to the liquor store that time, I got Jack, I got Maker's Mac, and I still had some at home, but they had the heel, and then it's like by getting a replacement, I'm not. I'm giving myself permission to drink the heel, if you know what I mean. Because it's
Well,
sad if you drink it and you don't have a replacement.
I I'm I'm not that way. Because and then what I do is if I finish the bottle, then that means I have to go get another one.
Yep.
So it puts a little bit more of a sense of urgency on replacing that bottle. Um,
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to my point, the Tabor whiskey type fellas there. What's we should mention the name of the brewing company. The
it's Bridgeland.
Bridgeline,
It's
Bridgeline,
Bridgeland. They're out of
Bridgeline.
Calgary.
Either way, it's nice. I always like trying new bourbons and new Tennessee whiskeys. Typically, there's way more bourbons out there, and you should adjust that bag so it doesn't fall. You know, hate to lose that. But yeah, it's a Canadian outfit that actually makes bourbon, and that makes sense because like bourbon and Tennessee whiskey are both made from like corn mash, and we have a like one of the greatest resources of corn in the world in Tabor. Like they should literally have like a Tabor distillery, and like anyway, the point I'm making is that when I went and tried like three of the five available bridge lines, because I think one or two of them are ryes. Um,
It's Bridgeland,
Bridge
Land.
Land. Okay, sorry. The Tabor one, I was like, oh wow, because it's actually sweeter than a bourbon that you get from like Tennessee, Kentucky. Sorry. Um,
But not too sweet though. It's got the
yeah, not syrupy, not rye sweet, not rye sweet. Like just just you can just get you get that sort of hint. It's where it's a little sweeter. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm a huge fan. And like I buy the bottles. I buy that one specifically when I come here to a Sherbrooke pub.
Because
And
they have that at Sherbrooke Liquor, which is right next door. Give our friends a visit. Yep.
yeah, and when you go to Sherbrooke Liquor to get your corn whiskey, come here and have a beer. You know why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, exactly. I should convince Janet to bring the Bridgeland over. Like,
You, you,
just,
yeah, we should. Like it's just we'll have a staff meeting soon because we're here enough that we're almost staff. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so
I
that
thought it
was
was appropriate that we came here for the scene of the crime from last Friday. And just a comment on that, is yeah, I didn't. I took like one picture from Julian's before we got here on Friday, and I always thought that like it's like when I go to concerts, I want to like when we saw Nazareth with Johnny and he was up front and he's got his camera out. I'm like, I don't need to film. I can just sit here and enjoy it because if I really want video, I could ask Johnny later. But um,
oh,
I
Johnny here might have some stuff that he needs to send us.
yeah, yeah, good point. But like chronologizing,
Chronicalizing. This one is chronicle.
yeah,
The other is chronology. This is chronicling,
yeah,
which is different. You
chronologicalizing.
you you and anything starts with chron, you have an issue with. That might be a learning disorder. You have it.
I hope I never get Crohn's disease. No, so
Uh,
like yeah. So my point is though is like I just can't imagine. I mean, I used to do it all the time, so I'm not here to judge. But you're at a concert and you're like right up close and you can see the guy, and it's like you're filming it and you're watching it through your camera. I mean, that's almost the same as watching a video at your house. So it's like, whereas like fucking hang out, like just enjoy the moment. And so right, I've applied that to like when I go out with my friends, especially like it's everybody loves you. It's Jimmy's birthday party. The place was packed, by the way. It was awesome. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. I'm like, hey, everybody, come here. Like I'm more interested in talking to you than I am like, hey, let me get a picture with everybody in this joint.
that I love your justification on that. It had absolutely nothing to do with what you're just saying right there. You were too drunk to operate your phone. You
No,
you hey, 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 Linda, listen. Okay, you drank an entire bottle of wine before we came here. And then we were doing shots and we did a couple shots at Julian's. We, we were here and, and it got out of hand.
Well, that's I'm glad that you interrupted me, but because it actually it fits within the chronology of what I was saying.
You gotta quit using that.
Because like yeah, like we talked briefly the next day, and it's like there's a lot to be remembered if you took pictures because it kind of refreshes your memory, and you go, hey, that was the time I did
Like,
that, and oh yeah, he was there. I remember now. We talked about that. I don't have any of that. I don't have like a journal that I can refer to the next day
like,
because I don't take
because
pictures. So I'm like, maybe I should take more pictures.
because my favorite part was the next day. I apologized to everyone that I don't remember seeing at the bar. That and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I got really drunk. You were there and I didn't say hi. I'm sorry. And then I looked at my phone and went, oh, I've got selfies with every last person I apologized to. So I've got video of them, singing. I actually I have a video of you singing. Um,
It's like you
yeah,
should put it on eBay or something. You might make a few
No,
bucks.
you know what? I will put that stuff at the end of the podcast, the stuff that I have, and then I'll contact our
Yeah, good or
chronicler,
bad. Fuck it.
like
Yeah.
I'm going to our chronicler, which is Johnny, because he comes to a lot of our stuff and he takes pictures and video,
Yeah.
which
Friend of
he
the
probably
podcast,
has.
Johnny.
Yeah, he's the official chronicler of the Bald and Short of It podcast, and
And then and he's on the bench in case I act poorly because he's bald too.
yeah,
He's an easy stand-in or easy
he's
replacement.
standing. If Mooney has a tragic end by a midget beating the shit out of him, um, we have a follow up. But other than that, that was my week.
I before I like I pretty my Friday was Jimmy's Friday. Uh, but I should mention that you actually you probably should be the guy. You probably should have apologized on the Saturday because and now that you're getting churched up, you're probably gonna have to get used to apologizing more because you have like this moral compass or something. but, uh, but the other thing is like more to my point about that guy running around taking pictures, but not. I'd rather have real conversations and not take all these pictures. You were actually that guy. Like maybe you didn't have any meaningful conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like so maybe it was fitting that you apologize. He's like, well, where's Jimmy? Well, he's off taking pictures with that guy over there. He's over there. I came to see him. He barely talked to me. He just came to snap a selfie and then fucked off. So yeah, good thing you apologized. They were probably talking to me and having a heartfelt conversation because they have my camera out.
The, the thing is, see, I didn't talk to you on purpose because I do
We
this
talk all the time.
podcast with you
No, I don't care.
between an hour, 2 hours at a time, and and I talked to your daughter, who's a really nice girl, by the way. I don't. I'm pretty sure that she got nothing from you, um, because she's actually nice and she's got hair. But
I saw the tab. Lots of people got stuff from me. No, it was a great time. It was an awesome time. Yeah. So my week, and I'll be brief. I'll just stick to the highlights. Uh, I went to the Deke House. We had our annual Scotch and cigar with the fellas. It's all the guys come. Alumni pledges actives. We do it every year. It's an annual event. Scotch and cigar night. It's just a great event every year, and there's so many guys there you haven't seen forever, and guys you see on the reg, like friend of the podcast, Bayrak, and other people. But one of the things I should mention is there was a couple of fellas that came up and said, "Hey," and they asked me about the scooter that we talked about last episode. So I'm like, "Oh, people actually listen to our shit." You know, like, and I like hat tip to a friend of the podcast, Ryan, and you know, Ryan the Deek, and to actually all the boys that came out because it was a fun time. We had a great time. Eric and I went there early, watched the Oiler game, and met up with and the fellas go with their big brothers and their families beforehand to have dinner, and then they come around right around the time the game was over. So it was a great night, great event, and yeah, between Friday and that, I didn't do much else because the two events were enough to put me on my ass.
Oh yeah, it was the party here was an event. It it
Yeah, it was great.
it was there was a lot of singing and and very few people sang well. Um, you include, I got video. It's gonna be on. Dude, you were not good. Yeah, neither was I. Like, don't get me wrong. I like until I got to sing, I got friends in low places. Um, I sucked, but yeah, and those pictures and video will be on the end of the podcast. So you have to
I
listen all the way to the end.
it's mortifying to me to like I've seen. I like to think that I have a pretty good ear. Like if I hear a song, I can whistle and sound exactly like it while it's playing. I'm like, oh yeah, I got a good ear. And then I've seen it before, and I play in bands, like um. Here, I'll
Like
get that
Guns N'
for you.
Roses, like Guns N' Roses.
No, like it's just that I have seen video after, and I know I nailed it. Like at least but maybe it's just the monitors. It's a bigger room. The monitors are right in front of you. You saying well to the monitors, but
or you were so drunk you couldn't find your feet, or
or it just sucks because that possibility exists. And I'm not here to suggest that it doesn't, but that's a little bit mortifying. I might have to see that video before you post it.
oh no, you're gonna see it as I post it. Like we are a show of the unabridged version of everything. Like
Yeah, you're right.
we don't sugarcoat anything. Like if there's a weird picture of me dancing and like me dancing while doing karaoke with no shirt on, we're the that is going to be like. I don't think I did it that night.
If there
Um,
isn't, I want it. We'll have to do
I
that
I
next
do
week.
I do have video of me at Rosario's shirtless doing friends in low places somewhere. Um,
Well, I want to see it in person.
okay, I will put that video on the
I
podcast.
don't want to see that one. I want to see a new one, and it'll come from me because you're going to be the one doing it. Like not for nothing, but that has to happen. So yeah. Speaking of that, the
Bridge.
unabridged.
Like, are you, is English your second language? What's your first?
The chronologically unabridged version of our podcast. Those of you that uh, check us out on Rumble, yeah, we our whole software suite is from Rumble, and we are live on Rumble. Like Jimmy says, we have like a we have notes, but it's just a shared like Google Doc that throughout the week when we encounter things, we just type them in. We do like maybe 5 minutes of prep, sometimes a little longer, but not usually. And we go live on Rumble before we actually like do the hey, it's Jimmy,
Or
like
like before we actually started, like an example is the fact that we have 6 minutes of of conversation before we actually launch the pod, before
yeah.
we actually do the start of the podcast. So that's talking about how sexy my mustache looks, um,
That never
how
happens.
how bald you are. You need to
And now
shave,
ugly
dude.
too.
So yeah,
We have the ugly thing
yeah,
too.
yeah, 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 yeah. We both are kind of ugly. I'm better looking than you, but doesn't take much. But
That's the other thing. Before your birthday, we spoke at length, and I wanted you to take the hair down to the wood because of the mustache. You
yeah,
look
no,
like such. You look like
but
that guy. You remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the like there when the guy wanted to fight on the plane, and Indy pushed his head into the propellers. He was this big bald German dude with the mustache. Like if you shaved your head, you'd look like that guy. But
why do
you
I want to
refuse
look
to.
like a big bald German dude?
Oh,
I'm a
well, I'm
midget.
just saying. So I'm just saying, it would have been a cool look. It would have been ironically tough. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to get off track
Okay,
here, but
okay. So now that we've gone through our week, can you do a quick sports thing? What's going on with the oil?
the Oilers are after last night. So we're filming on Wednesday. Is it? Yeah. Um,
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
they they played last night, Tuesday. The Dallas Stars. They lost 8-3. The last two games at home, I think they've allowed 17 goals. Excuse me, in two games. Um, and I'll just briefly, they're um, like tires burning in a dumpster. Um, and like,
So a dumpster fire.
yeah, yeah, but made of tires. So it's a tire fire in a dumpster. But and I think like as a lifelong Oilers fan, like I live and die by these guys. Like even last night, we were down 7-2, and Andrew's like, "I'm going to bed," and I'm like, it reminded me of the Decade of Darkness when you almost knew you were going to lose, but you're just watching because maybe this will be the game. You're playing the odds that one game out of 20 they pull out in the third, and it never happened. And I think that's the reason why, like talking to my friends that are like big Oilers fans too, that there's a lot of um, I don't know how to put it, like a lot less enthusiasm this year. Is that there have been less of those moments where they've done that. And like even like we always have slow starts, but it's like we haven't built anything. Like maybe we've won two games in a row twice. So there isn't this sense of a growing momentum. Not to mention the fact that the way that we're playing is very boring. And that concerns me a lot too. I'll just update after this. I mean, if you thought we hit rock bottom when we lost 9-1 to Colorado at home on Hockey Night in Canada, um, stay tuned because we lost 8-3 last night to the Dallas Stars. Now, in fairness, the schedule gets a lot easier. They don't have it. They have like the second half of the season. I think they don't have any road games, like, or at least Eastern Conference road games. So the worst is over in terms of like the schedule bullshit. So, before you get too down on the boys, uh, keep that in mind. Also, there's been increased talk about a goalie trade. It's starting to. I've heard Jordy Binnington. I've heard Tristan Jarry. It sounds more like retaining Skinner, but bringing in like an equal that they can compete with. um, you know, as opposed to bringing in like a Bennington or a guy who's won the cup or whatever, who's going to come at a heavy price tag. So I'll leave it at that. We'll probably have more to talk about next week, but hopefully, as briefly, one thing I read like today was as far as the Jays are concerned, it's off season, but they're heavily involved in free agent discussions with about everybody. But two names that have come up on different sources about who the Jays might um, pick up is like right fielder Kyle Tucker, who's a slugger, like a plus 300 hitter, is a free agent. Teams obviously are circling, but the Jays are one of the prominent names, so that's a guy to keep an eye on. Obviously, Bo Bichette, despite being a Jay, is a free agent now, and so the Jays are linked to him as well. It's hard to believe that if Bo, I think Bo and his agent are going to wait for like the best offer, and then they'll probably circle back to the Jays and see if they'll match it. That's what I do with I was the Jays. Is like I'm like, you know what? This is what we're prepared to pay. If you get a better offer, let us know and we'll talk. That's how it feels. Lately in Major League Baseball, more of that activity happens in January. A lot of the game playing and fuckery happens now. But Max Scherzer, who you might remember from the playoffs, is just this gritty, like guaranteed Hall of Famer, first ballot guy who's won two World Series, who locked it down for us in the last two series. Um, he expressed a desire to return to the Jays today, but because he's 41 years old and he had that thumb issue last year, um, I think it's just going to be a wait and see thing. It's nice to know that Max Scherzer wants to be back, and so unless we bring in an ace, at a high price tag, and even if we did, like I want to see Max Scherzer back in the Jays uniform. One of the things he commented on in that interview was quote unquote unfinished business. So if you're a Jays fan, there's a lot to be excited about for next year, and that's about it for sports. I'll leave it at that.
That that's the shortest sports we've ever done on this podcast.
This is the
This
shortest
is
co-host I've ever had, so I guess you know, maybe that's the theme today.
I
What does
I
the
don't,
Bible say about that?
don't throw stones.
There you
Don't you
go.
don't judge, for thou shalt be judged. Uh, okay, so what's this story? I'm looking at our prep notes,
Yeah.
and we're still talking about sports. NHL ice size. What do you mean by, like, you have written in that?
I was reading an article. It's sports adjacent. Well, it is sports, but it's more speculative. I was reading an article. It's just a thought that occurred to me that I thought I'd throw out there, and if anyone's interested, it's more just pause for thought. But because it'll never happen. But David Tomashik, he plays for the Oilers. He led the Swedish Elite League last year in scoring, like all of Europe really. And we signed him. He's 29 years old. He played some junior in Belleville Bulls, um, yeah, 10 years ago. And um, he was talking about the ice size, and he mentioned in the interview, it just gave me pause for thought. He said, this sounds awesome. Uh, he said the ice size is smaller in North America. We all knew that. We've always known that. Like when teams go over and play in Europe for the World Juniors or whatever, that the ice in Europe's bigger. But then if you extrapolate that to or chronologize that to North American ice, which is way smaller. It's like guys like Connor McDavid, if you watch the Oilers and you've been frustrated, it's like any team that plays man, they go right at him every time. And this kid is so goddamn talented and he has so much skill. It's like, wouldn't you love it if he had an extra foot or two to work with? Because even on this ice, he can make guys look silly. Um, and just imagine how much more competitive and well, frankly exciting the NHL game would be if you allowed that little bit extra ice. Now, it would never happen because arenas are specifically built to that ice size. It would be impossible to implement. But we're talking about an ice size that was determined like literally 100 years ago when the players were like farm boys from Saskatchewan and elsewhere, mostly Canadian, and now it's a global sport. And it wasn't, you play like 40 games in the winter with your buddies as before you get drafted and then play baseball in the summer or whatever. Like Dave Lumley famously said when he played for the Oilers, um, training camps when we got in shape. Like he goes, like in the summer I'd be a pack a day, and then training camp I shrunk to half a pack. And meanwhile nowadays it's $1 million game. Like kids are playing, like it's like you have to almost be rich to have your parents, and you're playing year round, which would make me sick of the game, frankly. But whatever, because it's such a big business, and because you can make generational wealth playing it, the best of the best of the best who train year round, who do all those things, are playing that game now. And as opposed to, like I said, those like the Gordie Howes of the day that are just naturally talented, maybe not that big, maybe not doing all of the sports regeneration and all the shit that these guys do, not peak whatever. Um, uh, maybe that's the ice that they were playing on, and that was fine. But with the structures and the systems and the money involved, I'm just saying, pause for thought. Wouldn't it be awesome if NHL ice size was actually, bigger and there was a little more offense and a little more ice for guys to play with?
So let me ask you a question about that. It actually has nothing to do with hockey, my question, but it's kind of in the same ballpark. So, like we talked about this a while ago about some changes that are happening in the CFL, where they are changing the the play area, the field, to closer to the NFL. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. Actually, frankly, one of the things they didn't do is the CFL field is wider than the NFL field. And so like again, almost to the point of the hockey is that there's a little more field for the talented players to play, and I like that. But what they shortened the field and they extended the field goal post to the end of the end zone, not the beginning. So that matters. Um, I just have some breaking news,
Okay,
sports
breaking.
news.
Is
Like
this
literally,
okay?
like it came out 3 minutes ago. Uh,
Are
Kieran
you are
texted
you
me.
are you okay? All our listeners, are you sitting down? Okay, this is breaking news. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, like so, right-handed starter Dylan Cease, he agreed to a 7-year, $210 million contract with the Blue Jays. Um, yeah, he posted 4.55 ERA with Padres this year, but yeah, like he's a Cy Young finisher. He's 29 years old. Uh, he's 1 year removed from being a Cy Young finalist. Um, and he's an ace. So that's remember I was talking about Max Scherzer, and him joining
Yeah,
the Jays. It's like Dylan Cease is a Major League Baseball proven starter who just committed 7 years, 200 odd million for the Jays. So we're talking about I don't even know the math, but
a
yeah.
lot of money.
So
We don't need to worry about the math.
yeah,
It's a lot of money.
yeah.
It's money that most normal people will never see in a billion years. Um,
Anybody who's listening, look up Dylan Cease. He had a little bit of an off year last year, but he was a UFA, and we picked him up. I mean, that's commitment. I can't wait. I already can't wait for the season to start. So April. So
so what's the UFA?
unrestricted free agent. It means that any
Okay,
team can sign him. He doesn't. He's not affiliated with a team. You don't have to trade for him or yeah. So sorry
okay,
about that.
okay, no, all good. So now that we finished the boring stuff, which is the sports, now we're going to get into the exciting stuff, which is the news dealing with music. It's called Jimmy's Music News. Is what it's a new feature to our podcast, which I'm adding without consulting my cohort. But
We always have. It's like this is a new feature, and then we do it one week.
until the next time. Um, but so Guns N' Roses have added 3 Canadian dates to their upcoming tour in 2026, and they are coming to Edmonton, to Commonwealth Stadium. And I've seen them. I've seen them at Commonwealth Stadium. It's such they are like, people talk about the acoustics at Commonwealth, that they are a band that could definitely do Commonwealth. I've been there actually when I first started with
He
Cruise
dressed.
FM.
He dressed as
Okay,
Slash.
no, just let me tell the story. So when I worked at Cruise FM, I was actually working a booth at the Cruise FM booth at the time, and I was dressed as none other than Slaughter, and
Slash.
Slash. It was kind of like Slaughter, but different. Um, it started with an S, and I killed it. Like, people were taking pictures. I saw the concert. It was such a great show. I'm and I would definitely see them at Commonwealth. Uh, Guns N' Roses put on a great show. Some of the guys have gained weight over the years and stuff like that, but their voices, like even Axel, like his voice, he like when Brian Johnson was had taken time off music for ACDC. Axel was actually did a lot of his songs for a couple of tours
No,
with the
he's got a high
ACDC.
register. Yeah, and that was actually what a great, like, it was a treat for every rock and roll fan, and for ACDC, because imagine how much insurance they would have lost. And all the video I saw of Axel doing Brian Johnson's parts were awesome.
But oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go watch this show. I might actually, I might actually dress as Slash as part of the show just because I can. Um, why not? A midget Slash, sorry, little person Slash. Um, but yeah, that's coming in August. And another really cool thing that came out this week was the only Canadian inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for 2025 is is a great dude. It's Paul Rogers. So he's known for the band Free and Bad Company, which
Yeah,
are both, you know, he was inducted into the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, and next year he's being put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is international, and that's huge news. And
Paul Rogers. Just to interject, I love Paul Rogers. One of the greatest voices of all time in rock and roll. Uh, it sounded like Trump there. One of the great voices in rock and roll of all time. Uh, Paul Rogers, one of
okay,
the great
okay,
voices of all time. Um,
okay, your voice is carrying throughout the entire
uh,
the bar right now, and
no, he's actually transplanted Canadian. He married a BC girl. He lived in BC actually. I think he lives in the interior, like around Kelowna ways, like somewhere around there. Obviously, like Free and Bad Company and all those guys that started um, in the UK. Obviously, he was part of that sort of British movement, early '70s type thing. But if you want to lay claim to him, fair fucks, I guess.
but I'm just saying he's Canadian. Um, Bite me. Uh, but other than that, that is the Jimmy's Rock and Roll news of the week, which might come back next week. Who knows?
But
Um,
you're talking like straight up rock and roll news, not like if you want to talk about any records or any musicology, like when I heard that universities were offering like musicology degrees, I was like, damn, not that you'd ever be employable. You'd write for a failed publication or something, but like,
or, or on this podcast. Uh,
but I
but
don't think people want to hear me review. Like, I could talk to you about Young Gun Silver Fox, who are actually a current band. Their latest album came out in the spring, and they're basically like a yacht rock band, but they're out of the UK. One of them's Silver Fox is American, Young Guns British, and he's also the lead singer of a band called Mama's Gun.
I, but to be honest, I don't think anyone really cares
Yeah, yeah.
because
Well, you know what? I don't know.
this is Jimmy's music news. If you want to come up with the mooning music news, bring it to the next meeting. Um,
Just submit it to the boss and he'll decide.
and we'll discuss. Um,
Like,
and
write me, give me briefing notes, write me a presentation, and I'll decide whether or not we use it.
exactly. That's the thing. You're the talent. I'm the production department, and I don't approve. Um, but you know, don't get me wrong. Young Guns, Silver Fox. You've made me listen to their music a few times,
It's
and they're
good.
not bad.
And my knowledge of music prior to prior to the current music is like encyclopedic. So except for like dance and electro and all that shit. But um,
Which
you were talking you were talking earlier about that there was four concerts at Commonwealth this summer.
Yeah, because there's ACDC, there's Guns N' Roses, and I can't remember the other ones. Um,
Yeah, they said there's two more.
like we've talked about it a couple of times, like on our previous podcast.
I know we talked about AC/DC.
So it's events. Well, there's a few. If I would have known you would be quizzing me, I would have actually had it ready.
Well,
But there is.
if I had a segment, I'd probably know that shit, you know. But that's your
I'm,
segment, so you do
but
what you
but
want with
we've
it.
talked about it on previous podcasts. So if you were actually listening to me um during previous podcasts, you would know.
I
Um,
know you talked about AC/DC, but you said that there's four concerts at Commonwealth this summer. Not for nothing. Probably Metallica. They come every year. But hey,
no, they don't.
all right. Well, maybe so. I guess you have a reason to have your stupid segment next week.
uh, Showing
You
up
could,
next week on our
you could
podcast is.
next week, Jimmy can next week Jimmy's gonna pick up the balls you dropped.
But on a different note, let's talk about something that no one really gives two shits about. And this is you wrote this in the podcast. The Brookfield CEO of the UA whatever. What is that?
So on November 12th, the CEO of Brookfield, who like Mark Carney used to run, that Mark Carney used to run, they're like a $1 trillion company now. They started in real estate in Canada. Um, they have about $100 billion, or no, $100 million in climate credits, which is like a false economy. It's all virtue money that other companies can buy from them. So this is why they're all like, oh well, you know, it's got to be carbon neutral. Well, you can't drill oil or do anything like have a AI, a natural gas run AI facility in Alberta, which a lot of people do want because it's cooler without buying carbon credits because you can't do it if you're using natural gas. If you're using anything to do any of this stuff, you have to offset. This is all the carbon parlance. So I'm just saying that November 12th, the CEO of Brookfield, Mark Carney's old company that he is still highly invested in, even though it's in a blind trust, he went to the UAE to talk to them about like Kuwaiti funds and UAE funds for AI. And Brookfield would buy the real estate, own the real estate, get revenue from the real estate, and in partnership with companies like Nvidia and the Kuwaiti investment fund and the UAE investment fund and stuff like that would build these things. Okay. And then that would be seed capital, and then they would have the shareholder revenue and all that shit. So this guy comes on November 12th, meets the CEO of Mark Carney's old company. Then a week later, on November 19th, Mark Carney, the first Canadian prime minister since 1983, Trudeau, to go to the United Arab Emirates, meets with them. Same people, okay, this guy. After that meeting, within hours of that meeting, Brookfield announces $100 billion AI investment project, you know, featuring the players that I mentioned already. Now, this didn't happen until after Carney came. And then guess what? A few days later, Mark Carney says any AI investment in Canada has to be carbon neutral, which means that if somebody wants to come to Canada, colder climate like Alberta, because you need a colder climate for AI because of all the heat that's generated by that quantum computing really is such that colder climates are conducive to that. Well, if you're going to do it, it's got to be carbon neutral. Okay. But you can't not emit carbon. Like there is no pixie dust. that doesn't emit carbon. Okay. So if you come to Alberta and do it, and because you can't have a carbon neutral production facility for this shit, you have to pay carbon credits. Well, who's the world's biggest owner of carbon credits? Brookfield. And this is not conspiracy. I haven't said anything at all accusing anybody of anything. Everything that I just said in the last however many odd minutes is strictly fact. And so my only question is this how you want the people that are responsible for you and your family's well being to be spending their time? Or is this how you want to be spending your time? I don't know. That that's all I'd say about that. What do you have to say about that?
I can give two fucks. Like I don't like
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
it is what it is. Like if they're bringing business here and like especially to that effect, like Canada we need business from other we've had issues with um stuff with where like uh whatchamacallit, with the American tariffs and stuff like that, where, you know, trading with them. So if he's bringing the business to Canada,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
we
Like
pay we
it's,
pay 225% tariff in Canada to buy Canadian cheese. And if you don't believe me, next time you're in the States and you're in a grocery store, just check and see what a block of cheese costs. And you'll be like, how the fuck do they make it so cheap? Well, they don't have a dairy cartel, so it works out for them. I mean, we have stuff within Canada that's like tariffs. And by the way, like none of this stuff is guaranteed to persuade business to invest in Canada. In fact, it dissuades them. Last week, Nutrien, they're a huge Saskatchewan potash producer, had to do a port, had to construct a port, had to expand and construct a port to export um, their potash to like the Pacific markets, and they actually chose Washington State as opposed to BC because of the uncertain economic market. How do you buy land to build a port? Get guarantees from the government to build a port if you don't even know if the money's owned by people in BC? In Washington, there's no restrictions. It doesn't have to go through a 40 point. Like the government doesn't have to decide whether or not you're worthy. They just go there and go, hey, we got money. Can we build this? They're like, okay, are you going to adhere to our environmental standards? Sure, we are. Okay, off you go. And they're like, it makes way more sense for us to ship our potash from Saskatchewan to like Longview, Washington, than it does to like BC because BC hates ports anyway. Um, so I'm just saying, I yeah, I'm
uh,
good. So I'm not sure that, so in short, I'm not sure that any claim that Canada is welcoming and inviting people to do business in Canada, that claim, I'm not sure how valid it is.
okay. Now that I woke up after that description, um, I feel dumber after that conversation for some reason. I feel like the teacher from Happy Gilmore, where no, not Happy, the other one, uh, Billy Madison, when Billy Madison was talking about the puppy that could, and I
You
feel
know,
dumber now that I've finished talking to you.
maybe what you should do is chronologize Star Wars again. Like in
Chronologically
like
break down, okay, so
then you can feel really smart.
okay, so now let's get into some actually Canadian, like an American company that actually has come to Canada, which was
Oh
the
yeah,
company
that's right. I saw that in the notes.
that
Yeah.
that makes sourpuss is come to Quebec. So they actually, I found this article. It was a couple weeks ago from Minnesota. They're actually moved their production to Quebec to produce here in Canada rather than in the US.
Do you know
So
what sourpuss is made of? Just out of curiosity.
it's, it's, I don't care. It's booze. Okay. It's alcohol. It gets you kind of a little bit drunk as we spend a lot of time.
No, that
But
wasn't a. That was just a legit question. I wasn't challenging you at all. I'm just curious because I think that's great. Good for Quebec. I don't know how many jobs the sourpuss factory is going to produce, and I'll take the W. So that's good. So for all my negativity and all business fleeing and all that, that's a really good news story. And thank you for bringing it up, Jimmy. I appreciate it. And I mean no sarcasm by that. I don't. You look at me like I'm busting your balls. I'm not. I'm not. I'm telling you.
okay. Uh, After the fight we're about to have physically, we will come
I'm
back after
serious. I'm
these
not even
messages.
kidding.
Uh,
I'm not even fucking kidding.
okay. But so we dealt with that. You know what? Let's get into something that I'm interested in. And that is,
But by the way,
there's a few movies that have come out that are, or in the process of coming out. That's like one Running Man. Re-
oh, that's been in our notes for a while.
that's been in our,
Yeah.
they did a Running Man. I wouldn't call it a sequel, a reboot or whatever that has, Glenn Powell. And actually, I totally forgot that Running Man, which originally was done with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't know. That was a
Uh,
great movie.
that was a great movie. They
Was
did,
that the one with Sharon Stone? No, no, she was Total Recall, I
no,
think.
no. She
Total
was Total
Recall.
Recall. Yeah. No, but the cool thing is and I've heard that like their, their box office numbers are kind of low, but,
Everyone's this.
but, but the thing is though, is I don't know if that's a movie you reboot that because the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger was, was fantastic back in the time. And,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that actually The Running Man was a Stephen King novel.
Oh, it's, actually, that's one of those Richard Bachman novellas. Um, like Stand by Me. I'm pretty sure. I could be
No,
wrong.
it's adapted from Stephen King's Running Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Like, and, but then, but is the original worth rebooting? The same thing is I saw this other one, which talks about the fact that I think we touched on this. Uh, they're working on a new Rambo movie that does not have Sylvester Stallone. It's gonna be a prequel, so
I was okay.
it's gonna take place during, like from what I understand, during actual Vietnam, where all the crazy
Yeah,
shit happened to him.
you
And
talked about that. Sorry to interrupt. There's two reasons why I want to interrupt. The first one is the Running Man came out under Stephen King's pseudonym, Richard Bachman, just like The Body did, which later was the Stand By Me movie. That was, I don't know if you knew this. Stephen King had like a pseudonym, Richard Bachman. And
oh, okay.
yeah, and then that's where, yeah, but I think that The Running Man was actually a novel. Even so, I just wanted to basically say I was right. But
You never focus on whether or not you're right or wrong ever.
but
Um,
to the Rambo point, if you grew up on that shit, like I read the David Morrell novels, like granted after I saw the movie. Um, like First Blood was a great movie. It was just a great movie. That was filmed in Terrace, BC, I think. Uh,
there was. Actually, you're wrong. It mission was Mission BC.
It wasn't Mission.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was because
Okay,
that's
look it
where
up.
a
I think we're both wrong, but Hope, Hope. I knew
hope
it. It was Hope.
hope.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
so we were both
because
wrong.
I actually know a guy that I met through the radio station. That's he he made the Rambo like a
Uh,
statue of out of
oh,
a
statue.
log out of like from a log that was, and it was Rambo, and it is in Hope. Yes.
Yeah, Hope. Anyways, my point is, we grew up on this shit. Anybody who's like even within 10 years either way of us, Rambo was a thing, and I mean, a great if it's a great movie and a great character, you always want more. I mean, that's why they had Rambo 2 and Rambo 3 and shit. But it's like,
And 4 and 5. Yeah.
but, like a lot of those movies based on somebody's experiences. It's kind of like the '80s way of addressing PTSD. Um, like, but um, my point is that like when you do like Magnum PI was like that too. If they came out with like a Magnum PI like prequel where it's like Magnum and Rick and TC and Vietnam, I'd fucking watch that. So like when you watch Rambo and he talks about the guy that died of Orange in the movie, he's like ate him down to the bone. Like
Uh,
it's like I want to hear about your adventures. Like, how did you
yeah,
become
but
that guy?
yeah,
Like,
in a way, I in a way I agree, but in another way, I'm not sure. But I definitely would watch it, but I'd watch it with skepticism,
I thought you were gonna say with me.
yeah, no, no, I sometimes have my too much of you. Um, but so I kind of want to see the new Running Man, but I've heard bad things about it, and but I'll have to see the new Rambo, the prequel, to know for sure whether or not it was, if they do it right, if they do it right and show like there's like, if you remember in First Blood where the cops were doing certain things to him and he was envisioning being tortured.
Yeah,
If they actually show some of that, but keep it like in continuity with that and not change too much. You know what I mean? Like where they show some of that stuff. And they talked about in
you good? Do you want to know?
no,
Yeah,
we're good for now. Like because they talked about like in Rambo 2, the fact that the reason why they sent him to that village was that that was the prison camp that he escaped from. Like if they show stuff like
yeah.
that, if they show stuff like his team that were killed, um, if they showed some of that, I'm game. As long as they keep to the continuity. If they change too much of what we already know of his history, then I would have a problem. You know
That's
what I
that's
mean?
like that's fucking Star Wars bullshit, man. Like that's like going,
No, it's dude,
you're watching
it's
like
full movies.
you're watching The Mandalorian. You go, oh no, that never happened in Episode 4 or whatever. Like fuck off. Like the origin. And by the way, they didn't refer to the Vietnam experience like enough for it to matter.
He did so many times. He he actually did so many times that he mentioned it. He talked about
yeah,
his friends that stepped on a landmine and lost his legs. He talked about like all these different things that I don't like. It's it's important to keep to the storyline because if they
Okay.
change too much, um, that's just my personal opinion.
Well, I'm saying is that like all of that franchise is based on what happened in Vietnam, and no one knows what happened. Like, the whole story and all
But
that.
but they need to stick to the stuff that we already know about. Is kind of where I'm kind of going to.
Yeah, I'm more excited about like who's going to be Rambo and things like that. That'll be cool because like I'm not a first run movie theater goer anymore. Like, there's enough stuff, there's enough garbage to pour into your brain that's streaming every day that I can probably wait like a month or two, before I see it in the theater. Having said that, maybe we'll do like a segment once. It'll be a recurring segment, a one-time recurring segment.
Yes, a one time reoccurring segment.
Yeah,
But
the
so
Jamie and Chris of the movies.
so you know what? I think we end with one thing because like I think it's time to kind of. I did lose one of my earpieces. But you keep bringing this up. I'm gonna get you to start talking, and then I'm gonna go find my earpiece.
Yeah, that's fine.
But weather warnings. You keep throwing this on the prep. Can you explain what you're talking about?
What on the prep?
Weather weather
Oh,
warnings.
so we talked about like a few episodes ago. We talked about the infantilization of Canadians. It's like when you look at the maps that they're like burning, and like we live in Canada, we live in Alberta, Canada, and it's like it's not like our world is not on fire. And I just to keep with that point is all is I read today that the government of Canada is coming out with a warning system like they do with abducted kids, which I'm so glad they do. Like anything we can do to help children that are abducted or anybody that are in harm's way, if we can if we can rescue those people collectively, I think that's great for community. But if we're at the lake on the boat and like it's like plus 30 and we're having the best day and then let's say we're in the water and our phones are on the boat and then all of a sudden both of our phones go ba 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 and we got to go on the boat and turn them off
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because they're gonna warn us that there's a weather emergency. Like, I'm just talking about what we already talked about. That's fucked. That's
It
literally
is.
fucked.
Well, unless it's like a hurricane coming or a tornado warning tornado warnings or hurricanes or any of that kind of stuff, I think is very important. But if
Sure.
it's just if it's a heat warning or yeah, we're gonna get some snow, we're gonna get a foot of snow. That's that makes no sense.
Let
Like,
me honestly ask you, in today's Canada, do you expect to get a ba 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 ba
no,
when it's like
no,
plus 30 in
no,
today's Canada?
no. I It makes no sense. Look, I
It
get it.
makes no sense to me either.
I get if a kid's missing or if there's an escaped convict, on the loose or something like that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's kind of stupid. Um, that's just my personal opinion. But
I don't want to speculate without some kind of introduces new weather alert. Here it is. Launches new. Oh, there's a color coded weather alerts as winter comes. What I don't even want to talk about it. I already talked enough about this
oh yeah,
shit. It's fucking infuriating. I'm not a child. I have a family. I just want to make money and be ambitious and be entrepreneurial without somebody telling me my world's burning down. But
But you know what? Now that we've gone through that and you feel better about yourself,
I
I
don't
do.
feel, I
I
feel,
no that you let this go, that you let it out, and I'm really glad. And I was wrong. I need to actually, before we end the podcast, I do need to actually, like, let it be known that there is three concerts coming to Commonwealth Stadium, not four. It's AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, and the Foo Fighters.
oh, that's right. I forgot too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's three, not four. So I was wrong for the first time on this podcast, ever.
Hey, let me ask you, there's something else we didn't talk about. Um, that was, we talked last week about maybe just touching on the Bible study thing that you did.
Um,
Like, what did you like? Do you want to talk? Like, are you comfortable talking about that? Or
okay, so the Bible study didn't happen, but I did go to church
oh, okay,
on Saturday. And the kid, I was wrong. It wasn't this Monday. It's 3 Mondays out of the month, so it's not every Monday. But but the church service itself, I thought was really kind of cool. So it was the final segment of, and I was at uh, Beulah Alliance Church, and
I think Paul goes there.
and but they have a Saturday night service. That's why I was able to go late, because I work Sunday mornings. But they did the final the it was a three-part thing, so he's done it a couple of other times, and it was the breakdown of the Apostles' Creed, which
I
is
believe in the
a real
Father, God Almighty, Creator of another. I believe in Jesus
yeah,
Christ, the Holy
yeah,
Son on earth.
yeah,
Um,
and it was really good. But the way he and I and it was there was something about it. Like one thing, and I totally missed this about going to church is sometimes you're sitting there and he's talking, and the way he's talking, it's like he's saying exactly what you need to hear. Like, it felt like at a couple points in the conversation that he was talking to me on stuff that I've struggled with, on a number of different things, and it like I was like it. And I'm going to try to go to service as much as possible, and then at least like once, like every Monday, like, so it's 3 out of the 4 Mondays of the month.
yeah,
They do the Bible study. It's because I haven't had that feeling in a really long time, where
that what that feeling.
I've gone. What's that?
You haven't had the what, the fear or feeling?
The feeling,
Feeling.
feeling,
Okay.
the feeling, like when I was there, and what he had to say, and the scriptures he talked about, it it hit me right here, like he was, like he what he was saying was meant for me. And and yeah, it's I miss that feeling. I
That's
had,
awesome.
like,
Yeah.
it's something. And I'm gonna, like, go to church as often as I can, go to the Bible studies and stuff like that, because it's it's good to, you know, I've separated myself from the church for a number of years. Like, I haven't gone to church for quite a few. It's because it's on Sunday mornings, and it hits. It really did. It's
I think that's awesome. Like,
and
I'll tell you, like, it's not unusual. Oh, actually, let me ask you first. So this. Bula, I could look it up, I guess, but like, what denomination is that? Obviously,
They're
it's
they're an
Protestant.
alliance. They're an alliance church, and I'm guessing they're kind of, especially you, um, like Christian reforms. Like they're
No, no,
not
like
like
it's not even
no no
about
no
reform now.
no, but there's a Christian Reform church. I think they're in the same kind of category
Oh, okay.
of of that, like kind of not Calvinist, the it's,
Lutheran. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
it's
Like, we don't want to mince
but the
words.
thing that like I don't know it, but it just it it's not Pentecost. It's but it but again, as I said, it kind of hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting at the time. Um, there was a couple of points in in the in that service that hit me in a way that hit me emotionally,
That's awesome.
and it's it's it felt good to kind of be able to um feel that again, and
Like connect with people, be part of a
but
community, and not
and because it's
but be part of a community, but also feel seen because he's talking about
like
struggles that I go
yeah,
through, and
it's
whether spiritually or whatever.
yeah,
And
it was important for me to be there, and and I don't want to get too much more into that because it kind of hits me a little bit. But before we end the podcast, we're going to end it on this note. On November 26th of 2024, James T. White and Grant Johnson were actually, this was our last show on 95.7 Cruise FM. So a year ago today, which is November 26th, was my last day on radio a
well,
year ago. And
and you know what? Here's to the property that the radio community lost. But look at this podcast. You really showed them.
the bald and short of it, baby. And let's end it at that. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, baby. I am James T. White. That is Chris Mooney. I am short. He is bald. Show your head. Um,
Love you, brother.